Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Subathra Mylsamy, partner at AK Mylsamy and Associates. So we are here to discuss about a very interesting topic which we have heard so much about it in the news, or we have friends and family who have gone through this. So today's act is going to be on the POCSO Act, which is the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act of 2012. So this act deals with protection of children from the sexual abuses. And in fact, the act has gone into deeper lens, in fact, giving punishments starting from 20 years to up to death penalty in case of any kind of aggravated penetrative sexual assaults. So initially, the offenses which were committed against children were dealt with the IPC, which is the Indian Penal Code. But unfortunately, the IPC was not able to take it forward to a large extent in the protection of children, and thus the POCSO came into being. All right, now let's go and see what are the salient features of the act, or what does this act actually cover. The first and most important aspect is, since it is children, it is completely non-disclosed. So the identity of the child or the child who is a victim is not disclosed at any cost. It is completely protected unless the special court asks you to disclose. So another important aspect in non-disclosing the identity of the victim is, even if the media covers the news, the media is strictly not allowed to disclose the identity of the child. So the definition of child here includes any child below the 18 years of age. Another important aspect covered under this act is the gender neutral provisions. So in this act, it does not create any distinction between the victim or the perpetrators on the basis of their gender. So this actually overcomes one of the biggest shortcomings of the Indian Penal Code's provisions. So it is important to note when I spoke about gender neutral aspect is, there are incidences where the courts have also convicted women for engaging in sexually abusive act with children. So another important aspect under this act is the mandatory reporting of the child abuse. So if you see here that any third party can go and report about the child abuse to the required authorities, it is allowed, since children are very weak and vulnerable, and sometimes children don't know what they're going through. So either it can be the family members or their friends or relatives can go and report about the abuse. The most important aspect here is when it comes to the investigation. So here it is mandatory in the POCSO Act that there is a child-friendly investigation which has to be done. So the statement of the child is generally to be recorded at his or her own residence or their place, and it is generally done by a woman police officer. And also the police officers are not to be in their uniform and to be in their colored clothes. So it makes it comfortable for the child to have a very friendly interaction with the officer. And the officer also should ensure that at no point of the time the child comes in contact with the accused during the entire examination or investigation is going on. And the child is also not allowed to be kept in the police station during the night time. Now we need to know what are the offenses which will fall under the POCSO Act. So first one, if you look into, is called as the penetrative sexual assault. So as the name very clearly says, it refers to any kind of penetration of any, either it can be an object or a body part in any private part or mouth of the child, and it also includes manipulating any body part of the child or making the child penetrate anyone else's body or even the body of the offender. So the next aspect is on the dealing of aggravated penetrative sexual assault. So here what, as the name clearly suggests, it is under following conditions, it is categorized as aggravated penetrative sexual assault. So when the offender or the abuser is any person who is in authority or who is in trust position for the victim. And the next is, if there is any kind of blood relation between the offender and the victim. The victim also in some cases becomes pregnant, and in case during this whole process the child also suffers a lot of physical injuries, then all these will fall under the category of aggravated penetrative sexual assault. What is sexual assault? This is something which is very common, and a lot of children undergo this. So when a child is being asked to touch either the vagina, the penis, the anus or the breast of the perpetrator or the person who's attacking them, or sometimes the perpetrator will touch these body parts of the child, which is the vagina, the penis, the anus or the breast, all these will fall under sexual assault, and the intention is to have a physical contact and to take it to a next level. Here, if you see the major differences, there is no penetration on a sexual aspect, but it is only physically coming in contact and touching the body parts. What is this sexual harassment here we have? So when either the perpetrator or the offender, he shows or shares any kind of sexual content to the child or the victim, either through a message or a WhatsApp communication or any medium of communications, he is said to have committed an offense of sexual harassment. Now it also includes any kind of vulgar or abusive gestures. The offense of sexual harassment is not touch based, and the sexual intent is required for such an offense. So when I meant gestures under the sexual harassment, it even means the emojis which are shared on chats or on emails. These also will fall under the category of sexual harassment. So next is the pornography. So anyone who uses a child for any kind of pornographic purposes, for either representing of their sexual organs of the child, or using the child in real or in any simulated sexual acts which are being performed, or representing the child in advertisements on television or on the internet, they have said to commit an offense under the section of 14 and 15 of the POCSO Act. So I would like to conclude by saying that please look out for children, and whether it is in your own houses or with your friends or relatives' houses, please educate your children about the good and bad touches. Please have open conversations at home. It is not a taboo to have conversations on sex with young children, especially young adults who are teenagers. So have as much as you can at home open conversations. Please build a very friendly atmosphere for children to come and talk about this, and give them the trust and space that they can come and reach out to a parent or to an elder whom they trust a lot at home. Please ensure that you also report any kind of abuse which is you have heard about within your own limits. All children are protected, and their identities are completely protected when you file a complaint under this act. So, and it is also very important as a citizen of our country that we report these kind of abuses on time, so that the perpetrators are being nabbed, so that we can also have a very healthy society for a future generation and for our children. I hope this video had been useful for you. Thank you so much for watching it. See you next time. Bye.